supposed to say?
I'm not supposed to say anything.
Well, thank you from the Hard Rock. This is the first item for the Chicago Hard Rock's Heavy Metal Wall of Fame.
Why are you giving this a
The Hard Rock Cafe is starting a new hall of heavy metal wall in their new Chicago that's opening up, and I wanted to be the first one to get the jump on it to actually give them the first guitar. So.
Did you want to sign it here in front of the camera?
I guess so. I could.
Why not? Why not?
Sure.
Yeah.
Shows the real pros of this, doesn't it?
Boy, it's like, why don't you make some funny faces with the guitar?
How about we'll just write your name across here, a Motley Crew under here.
Okay, sure.
The Hard Rock in its guitar collection, which is extensive, but we got everybody represented who's old. We got Chuck Berry and Bo Diddley, all the old guys. It's about time we gave a nod to some of the new guys that are out there working now. They're our guys. They're the people that come in and have their hamburger with us. They're our favorite people.
If I could have a few minutes with Mick, then we're...
Okay. Not smush this, yeah.
Mick, Warwick mentioned that, I'm out, okay? Warwick mentioned that, it's nice to have some of the young guys, and yet here you are with Elvis and the Beatles. How does that feel to be among those greats?
Me to be rated among the Beatles and Elvis Presley and that, oh man, it's a great feeling. I feel really honored and privileged to, and nervous.
Now this is a Theater of Pain guitar that you're giving, but tell us about the other guitars that you play.
Mostly all the guitars that I play are Kramer guitars set up the same way as this one that I gave. They're not quite as painted as like with the mask on. They're like just solid colors, white, and I have one with the eyeball on it. But the mask one is like ties in with the album, and it's just a much stands out. When you see the mask and stuff, that's off the Theater of Pain, and whose guitar it is. It's from a Motley Crew, So.
Do you have any odd-shaped guitars or weird or unusual guitars?
No, I like to keep it simple. I mean, my guitar shapes are just, straight Stratocaster-looking guitars. I might be using like Telecasters next year. I don't know. I'm not sure on it yet.
Here you are, giving a guitar at the Hard Rock Cafe. When did you actually start playing guitar?
Oh, God. Let me see. I started playing guitar when I was about 8 years old, and that's about 20 years ago. About 22 years ago.
Did you ever expect this kind of thing to happen?
I was hoping, that I would at least do something with, playing because I enjoy music so much. I just really worked hard, and it's paying off. I'm glad.
What other bands were you in before you were in Motley Crue?
None worth mentioning, really. Just mostly cover bands. Nothing that really did anything as far as original bands and everything.
How did you meet the guys in Motley Crue?
I met the guys in Motley Crue through an ad. I put an ad in a local newspaper here called The Recycler. It said loud, rude, aggressive guitar player available with my name and phone number. And that's how I met all the other guys.
Because you met them through an ad, was it more difficult to develop a friendship?
I didn't hear you.
Because you met them through an ad, was it more difficult to develop a friendship? I mean, you weren't friends to start.
No, meeting the guys and everything wasn't any kind of a detriment or anything like that. I needed some fresh blood because I'd already played with all these people around, like, where I was living in Redondo Beach and stuff, and I was like getting really tired of these people. And Nikki was in North Hollywood, and Tommy was way out in Covina and stuff. So new blood and stuff. Instead of like, putting yourself in one little corner, it's better to expound and play with different new people. It was a lot better.
Are you guys really great friends now?
Yeah, really, we're really. Tommy, Nikki, Vince, and I are what? It's like we're the best of friends. I mean, there's like nobody that can take us apart. We're like brothers.
If you had to define each member in one sentence, what would you say about them?
I would say Nikki is a maniacal madman. Vince is just completely wild, and Tommy's got Heather.
Tommy is getting married. Are you going?
Yes, I'm going to Tommy's wedding, yeah.
What are you going to wear? Is it going to be a heavy metal wedding?
I think what I'm going to be wearing is a leather tuxedo.
Any special jewelry or anything?
No, just my stock self. I'm just going to,
Speaking of clothes, the image versus the music has been a problem in the past with your group, and I read that you said, if you shaved my head, if you took off everything and I was just wearing a jock strap, I'd still be playing the same music. Can you elaborate on that a little?
As far as our music and our clothes and stuff goes, we just wear, the clothes that we wear and stuff is just to more expound, to like make it more of a theatrical thing, and makeup and stuff. It's always been there since the old vaudeville days, and even the old Italian, theaters and stuff. It's just clothes and flash and stuff. It just helps. But like I said, if I shaved my head and just wore a jockstrap, I still play the same. It's just icing on the cake.
So the music is the most important.
Definitely.
I also read that you said that you kicked a hole in the theory that you have to play guitar fast to be good.
Yeah, that made me feel good. I really don't think you have to play like blistering guitar licks to be, good. I mean, the guy in oh God, I forgot. You got to edit this part. Playing guitar fast, you don't have. I don't really feel you have to play guitar fast. Just cruise and take it easy. I'm starting to get dingy.
Define your guitar style.
My guitar style is kind of hard to define. I never really thought about like categorizing it and putting it in one thing. I just play what I feel like the song needs, and that's about all I do.
Are you the unsung hero of Motley Crue?
I don't think so. I think each one of us gets pretty much attention on an individual basis and as a group. I don't think that there's any one of us that are unsung heroes or anything like that.
I read that you said, we never want the moms and dads to like us. Do you feel that way?
If mom and dad starts liking us, I'm going to hang up my guitar.
What's the crew doing right now? What can we expect from you?
Well, right now, us four guys are like mostly relaxing and enjoying the time off, because in a few days we got to start rehearsals and the pre-production for the next album, and we're going to be like, in about the next week we're going to be pretty busy for about the next 3 or 4 months in preparation and doing the next album.
Do you have any clues what it's going to be like?
The album, my prediction is for 1986-87. This album will burn your fingers if you touch it.
Did Vince Neil's problems at any time make you think the crew would not continue?
No. I don't think that anything that happened with Vince would it's like the power of positive thinking. You got to think positive. With Vince's accident and stuff, just pull this together tighter, and it was like better.
Were you sorry about the concert that counts being canceled? Was the whole band even planning to be there?
Could you repeat that again?
Were you sorry that the concert that counts was canceled, and was the whole band planning to be there, or was that just going to be Vince?
That was just going to be Vince. No.
Well, I want to thank you for being with us.
Okay, thank you.
Do you think that Yes, and Asia and Genesis, and as you mentioned, 6 or 8 other bands, influenced you, what you're doing now?
Well,
think-
I suppose they have
Go
to.
on. Yeah, I think they must have done. I mean, we've worked with some very talented people, so that you do learn. You're learning stuff from other people, all the time. I don't think. Well, there's you can either steal from people and kind of copy them, but I think you don't do that if you've got your own output. But you do definitely get affected by the other people you work with.
You do learn a lot from people like that. I mean, there's so many strong characters that have been associated with our past. It's great to learn from them. It's great to be able to influence them, perhaps. But it's also nice to occasionally prove a particular rule wrong, because I think that bands grow up and they impose certain limitations on each other, almost by nature of the fact that you're accommodating someone else's choices and tastes, and very often it can become dogmatic. That was the problem I always felt with bands. It was a case of, well, you can't do this and you can't do that, and it's a case of, well, I think that musically most rules remain to be broken. At one time there was I mean, a case in point was, I remember various people who should remain nameless saying, I don't like blues. And then I remembered, I came up through the blues and I thought to myself, this is very strange, but maybe they've got a point. Maybe there was something that needed developing, because most bands were blues based at that point in time, and so a certain kind of band came along. But now one goes back and you say to yourself, is there anything of that which can be carried forward later on? Maybe it's just 2 notes, but maybe that works. Maybe it's relevant. I'm getting a little bit deep.
No, I understand what you're talking about, though. I understand, no. But you're talking about, obviously, influences and drawing from them. Who would you say your influences are, both of you? Who do you draw from that who you grew up listening to?
It's really, whenever we try to draw this out, it's quite difficult. The people that have influenced us are in bigger and smaller amounts, different people, and you can't really, I don't really tie it down to guitarists strictly, although usually I give the stock answer: Chet Atkins, Tal Farlow, and Albert Lee, Steve Morse, but really there's so many other players that are in there, and non-players too, singers, writers who've done stuff that I like to think it's a bit of everything, but that's a very easy way to get out the answer. Everything, the whole world, the cosmic answer, the whole world's influenced me. But really, I think it is about your personality as well.
I think, talking about people that have influenced you, it's almost as if influence no longer exists. I still become influenced the whole time. One goes on. I get more and more influenced by lyricists, for instance, and the meaning behind the song. People, I think, who were tremendous lyricists, people like Peter Gabriel, that I used to work with, Yoko Ono, even, very original approach to lyrics, and Sting, wonderful, great sort of social comment. So it's not just guitarists. If it was guitarists, I'd have to salute Segovia, for one reason, for giving the guitar a stage. Before Segovia, if you wanted to see a guitarist, go to the cafe, go to the street corner, but don't go to the concert hall. So that's what he gave to it. And the fact that he's still going and touring at the age where most people have shuffled off this mortal coil, it's got to be a testament to indomitable spirit.
Let's keep it.
Oh, what can you do?
I'll perform magic.
Oh,
No.
and we get to watch? Except what? Except I don't remember what we were talking about.
Like Segovia?
Oh, right, of course. Very good. Thank you very much. We were talking about Segovia and your influences.
Yeah, I think we're talking about guitarists which had influenced me, and I mentioned Segovia because I felt that he was the guy that gave the guitar a stage. I think that previously you wouldn't have seen a guitarist in a concert hall situation So he's got to be at the forefront of creating the platform for all of us, really. Then you have, sorry, he put me off. I just managed to get that one in. Edit.
And then you have.
Edit. I'm assuming they're going to edit. They're probably
Yes.
going to leave this in, right?
Right.
Yeah, he makes mistakes.
I'm rolling.
Yeah, you're rolling. I'm rolling too. This is just like a gig, you know, you break a string, you carry on.
Then you have. You were going to say somebody else.
Yeah, I can't remember.
You can't remember who it was.
I can't
Well,
remember. Completely
you know,
blown.
you two are now being compared by your record company to the Yardbirds with Beck and Page. And I have interviewed Beck and Page, and they told me that there was some heavy-duty, intense rivalry. What about? Oh, are we okay?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Are you guys? Do you think there's going to be heavy, intense rivalry? Is there any, or is it smooth?
It's not a competition. We know it's not a hot. I mean, as much as that word sums up our attitude towards combining stuff as opposed to you could look upon it like that, but being reasonably positive, we're trying to keep it above board. Not too diplomatic, but it's got to be a mixture of styles from the word go. The playing, you know, the involvement. You're asking me, do we reach conflicts? Well, we reach points of differing opinion, but we have to resolve that sensibly. And we've, you know, on the record there was Jeff, was our producer, Jeff Downs, so he would, he would help to manoeuvre so that the music wouldn't suffer. In fact, the music can increase through that conflict, and that's what I've seen in other groups where the end product is much better because people have said, well, actually, I hate this bit, and they said, well, I hate this bit. Take them both out and stick it back together, and constructing it. We've worked in depth.
Like Lennon and McCartney always had those rivalries that made them better. What do you think of this Beck-Page comparison? Do you give it any credence?
I think that was the first thing that Brian Lane mentioned, first of all, and it made me think that in a way, although the band you mentioned existed, I don't think that anyone really captured that on record, the idea of two guys that were trading off each other in that kind of rock sense of the word. I mean, you've had acoustic guitarists who've come together and done it, and we all know who they are, and they did it very, very well. But that turned into a kind of competition